mentioned that the lunch today would be frog's legs or something like that from the sciences, something that we had to dissect during lunch. It's nice to see everyone. I have a very bad cold, so I'm not going to hug any of you or extend my hand, but to just thank you all for being here today and how wonderful it is to look around the room and see such good colleagues supporting the sciences at Eastern. And I have said to Mr. DeLisa and Mr. Osborn that I think this idea of having the academic departments celebrate the 125th in different ways has really been a good idea. People have been so creative, and so I'm looking forward to today as well. And actually, it started last night, so thank you for being here. And this is the fourth event this semester, this spring, to celebrate Eastern's 125th anniversary. Our science faculty and students have demonstrated their ingenuity and resourcefulness in putting on today's events. I say events because they did not simply put on this luncheon to showcase the sciences, but they have a lot of activities going on all day. Last night, a professor from the University of Rhode Island gave an informative talk on the demise of the dinosaurs 60 million years ago. How many of you came to that session? I heard it was really very, very interesting. This morning, 70 students from the local STEM Academy, I thought this was such a great idea, came to tour the campus and to do science demonstrations, a good way to get K through 12 connected to Eastern. This afternoon, as your schedule allows, I invite you to visit the science building and the planetarium for the series of demonstrations, experiments, and talks that are outlined on the program on your table. In the next 45 minutes, you'll hear from several of the current science majors, as well as from 6 former and senior faculty members who have given Eastern 225 years of service. I suspect you know a lot more about the past 50 years of service at science service at Eastern than any of you have ever known before. But before you leave, you're going to have some fun. Did you see the clickers on the tables? You're going to have a test, and you're going to see who's smarter than a college freshman. And if you win, I understand that there's some fabulous, fabulous prizes. Are there vacations to Hawaii and things like that? I don't know. Before we continue with the program, let me share a quick perspective about science at Eastern. First, we have always had science courses. Listen to this. In 1889, students at Eastern took 5 hours of math a week, 5 hours of chemistry a week, 5 hours of physiology a week, and 4 hours of physics or geology. Could you imagine? That's science preparation. That's fantastic, and mathematics preparation. Secondly, as the name of today's event implies, Eastern has always taught students science by doing science, not just by studying it in a book. Majors spend more time in the lab than they do in the classroom, and that philosophy has paid off. That's part of the culture of the sciences in all of the science departments at Eastern. And it has helped us with our graduates going on to succeed as doctors, pharmaceutical scientists, environmental engineers, and medical researchers. It is important that you do science by learning it, you're doing it. Thirdly, I want to recognize another important aspect of how Eastern's history has unfolded. We have always had leaders on campus. From 1898 to 1970, science on this campus was principally led by one person at the time, Frederick Stabner, from 1898 to 1929. Then William Field until his retirement in 1944. And finally, Mr. Science himself, Robert Wickware, who taught until he retired in 1974. It's very interesting that there was always a person deemed the science person at Eastern, and they provided the leadership and the intellectual work that led to the prominence of the sciences here at Eastern. And who can forget the amazing progress made during the time of Mary Rogers, who chaired 2 of our science departments and was the first director of the planetarium before retiring in 1989. Today, we continue to enjoy the leadership of our science faculty as they have turned to our science building into a modern research center. They attracted 100 new majors, graduating science stars, supporting an expanded program of undergraduate research, and moving science at Eastern as well ahead in the 21st century. And because we are a liberal arts university, all of the students take and benefit from our science courses. It's not just the majors, and that's part of this liberal arts core that we're so proud of. Our reputation is stronger today because of the outstanding work of our science faculty, and I'd like to acknowledge them and ask them to stand. I said science, and the mathematicians are in the middle of the room, but we consider that what a science. So science and mathematics, thank you for standing, all of you. And so it is because of their dedication that we're able to educate our students in the significant way that we do. Please enjoy the lunch and enjoy the clicking today, and I hope you win a lot of fabulous prizes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nunez. We also, in addition to hearing a little bit later from some of our emeriti faculty, we have several students today who are literally stars in the field in our 4 different major academic departments in the sciences. The first student who will speak on what she's been doing in her field is Lindsey Belliveau, and she's in environmental earth science.
Hello, everyone. I would just like to say that I'm so grateful for the education that I've received through Eastern. I must say that my experience with the Environmental Earth Science Department has been incredibly rewarding ever since my first day as a freshman. I must say that the faculty really helped make this. I know everyone's been congratulating the faculty today, but I personally must extend that because they have made my experience so much more valuable than I could have ever imagined. The EES department allows both geology, sustainability students and environmental studies students to develop their skill sets that are needed for successful futures in their fields, as well as gaining useful background understanding of mathematics, chemistry, physics. And I can personally say that I feel very prepared for the future in academia that I plan to pursue, as well as any graduate programs that I am about to attend. And I must say that the faculty allowed my passions and dreams to become reality by allowing me to participate in multiple practicums, independent studies, field camps, and internships. And I must also say that our program and the experience that has been provided to me has allowed me to gain many regional and national scholarships, as well as a job opportunity with the Connecticut State Geological Survey. I must say that I cannot express how much I appreciate my education here at Eastern. I can confidently say that my education is definitely something that I will be able to talk about forever for my future. I will always honor Eastern for what they have given me, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. So I would just like to say thank you to the EES faculty that's here, as well as the ones who are not, and I am just so excited to pursue and see what comes future for me for geology. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Erin Conn from the biology department.
Good afternoon. My name is Erin Conn, and I'm a senior in the biology department. I can't say anything but good things about Eastern. I'm not looking forward to graduating, but I kind of am. I just committed yesterday to attend Georgetown University to pursue thank you. To pursue a PhD in cell biology, and I strongly feel that that would not have been possible at all if I didn't have the broad curriculum that the biology department offers. I came into Eastern so set on what I was going to do with my life, and all of that changed in the past 2 years, and I credit that to the numerous amounts of classes in all different spectrums of the field that I was able to take. I just appreciate everything that I've been able to experience. I've been working with Dr. Stitch in her lab since my freshman year, and I'm finishing up, and that's kind of sad. But I just love Eastern. I'm so grateful for everything that the biology department has given to me and everything that I'll take with me through the rest of my career. So thank you to the biology department, and also thank you to Eastern for just a wonderful 4 years.
Our next student speaker is actually our first undergraduate research fellow. He did some work this past summer with Professor Erin Conn, and I believe not only did Ricky go to 2 national conferences last summer based on his research. He's a mathematician, by the way, so I don't really understand what he does, but it's impressive to some people. And in fact, it's impressive enough that his work with Dr. Conn is being published in 2 different journals. Ricky, would you come up, please?
Hi, I'm Ricky. As was mentioned before, last summer I was funded by Eastern to do research with Dr. Conn of the math department. And I was very grateful to have that opportunity. It allowed me to really focus on my mathematical career and pursue that instead of having to work a summer job to be able to pay for school. And it culminated in 2 different pieces of work that were both respectively accepted, one more recently. First I'd like to thank Dr. Davis for asking me to speak here today to be able to talk about the math department, because I really feel that the math department has been able to shape the way that I'm sort of going down the path of my career, if that makes sense. One of the things I think is the strongest aspect of the math department here is how dedicated the professors are to really creating strong bonds with the students that they work with. I can honestly say that I see a lot of my professors in the math department as not just academic advisors and club advisors for the math club, or as people to go to ask academic questions, but really as almost friends that I can just ask about things in life and just talk to about questions. There are many times when I've just gone to Dr. Conn's office and had tea with him and talked about whatever things were going on. And I think that sort of relationship with professors is really crucial to helping students succeed in their academic endeavors, because it gives them a really close relationship for recommendation letters, and also helps them to make them feel more comfortable with people in their field. And so when I went to go to conferences to present some of my work, I was able to speak with other faculty members from other universities really easily, because I was used to doing that here with the professors here. So I'd like to thank all of them for always, keeping their doors open and listening to students whenever they wanted to talk, to give advice on especially school and, class choices, but also, on things in life. I've been able to take courses at UConn, graduate math courses, after completing the courses here, and the math department has been really helpful in sort of guiding me through the process of doing that, and advising me on what sort of classes I should be taking if I want to try to get into a competitive graduate school, which is what I hope to do. So I'd just like to thank the math department for always being there for me and for their students, and thank you, Eastern, for providing that to me.
And finally, we have 2 students. I guess they're going to team share their experiences with us. Jackie Lagasse, I believe, and Rebecca King from various physical science programs.
I'm Rebecca King, and I'm a senior biochemistry student here at Eastern. I first got interested in science and chemistry in high school, and I decided to further pursue it when I got to college. And I feel that Eastern was a great choice for me because of the real hands-on experience you get through the lab classes due to the small class sizes, and the availability to work closely with all the professors here. staff here is just great. I love all of my professors, and I had the opportunity to be a TA for a year, for the last year, and it really helped solidify a lot of ideas for me and got me more personal experience working in a lab setting, which I really am very appreciative of, because I don't know if I would be able to get that kind of experience anywhere else at any other college. So Eastern's a great school for students interested in science because of all the opportunities we have here. Not just through the science department, all the sciences, all the majors, but also through the liberal arts program here. I feel my education here has opened up so many opportunities to me that I wouldn't have had if I went to another school. And the small classes paired with working closely and building relationships with professors is what has led me to succeed here at Eastern.
I'm Jackie Lagasse. I'm also a biochemistry major. I wanted to go a little bit more specific into opportunities that I've had at Eastern. Rebecca and I were both teacher's assistants for Dr. Tate's biochemistry class, and it really allowed us for a hands-on activity to really get used to the students and learn and help them succeed in their class with both concepts and techniques that might have been difficult for some of them. I've also had a chance to do an undergraduate honors thesis with Dr. Tate, and it's been such a learning experience. It's improved me as a student, as a scientist, as a person. I can't say enough about the experience I've had with my thesis over the past year and a half. In addition, I've already applied what I've learned in my major and so far at Eastern to get an internship last summer at the Millstone Environmental Laboratory, so already I have Eastern to thank for getting that opportunity, and I hope to further apply it to get a job in a research position at a pharmaceutical company eventually someday. So I have to say I've taken classes in math, in EES, in biology, and in the physical sciences departments here. Both my interests are very broad, and part of the liberal arts education that we get here. And from all the departments, I have no negative things to say. All the professors that I've come across have been very helpful, very kind, compassionate, and really have a passion to help students learn. And that's part of, the sciences here at Eastern are very, very beneficial to students, and I just really want to thank Eastern and all the faculty and staff in every science department here. Thank you.
Let's give all our students one more round of applause. So what you've seen so far is sort of Eastern today in the sciences. We have had an opportunity to speak with a handful of our emeriti faculty in the sciences, and we've put together a video that you're about to see. You'll recognize some of these people, and they really do exemplify the foundation of science here at the university, and in a way really set the stage for our new science building and all the wonderful things that are happening today in the sciences.
I came to Eastern in the fall of 1965.
I joined the Eastern faculty in 1967, and I taught here for 25 years and retired in 1992.
Well, I came here fresh out of graduate school, Boston University, with a master's degree in physics. And I had served as a teaching assistant and also had done some research in sonar waveforms.
I had gotten an undergraduate degree at the University of Massachusetts in geology. Then to change the landscape and the scenery, I went out to the University of Indiana, got a master's degree there in geology, and I returned back to the University of Massachusetts and got my PhD in geology.
I had served on active duty in the Air Force for a very short time between my master's degree and PhD degree. Then I went from Kansas State University to Iowa State University for 1 year as a teaching postdoc position, basically, and then came to Eastern from Iowa State University.
I had a bachelor's degree in mathematics with a minor in philosophy. Then I went for 2 years as a Peace Corps teacher in Nigeria. And then when I came back, I went to graduate school for 5 years at the University of New Hampshire, eventually getting a PhD in mathematics, and then was hired at Eastern in 1971.
When I came to Eastern, I was the 6th full-time person in the department. There were 5 people here when I came.
When I came, the math department was housed in Knight Hall, a small building that probably was a residence many years ago.
When I first came here, all of the science labs were taught in 3 rooms in the 2nd floor Schaefer Hall. There was one for biology, one for science education, and one for everything else, and I was part of everything else.
We taught mathematics for really 2 types of majors. One were those people who were going to go into secondary education, and the other were people who were going to use it professionally in industry, in actuarial work, statistical work, and so forth.
I was interested in being at a place where preparing teachers was not an afterthought, it was the primary mission. My basic approach to teaching science was that it was not a spectator sport. You have to do science to learn science. You can't just watch talking heads. Math is the language of science. You know, it's powerful, it's concise, it gives you ability to evaluate things theoretically before you try them empirically.
To be an environmental or science major, it's a rather selective process because you have to take chemistry, at least a year of chemistry, you have to take a year of physics, you have to take calculus or statistics. And so this is not a major that people would just wander into. You had to have a desire to go that particular route.
So how do we approach chemistry? We usually start with the lab. We put a lot of math into it, and I think sometimes that's where chemistry gets to be a turnoff for many students because they say all they're doing is solving problems. But the problems are intended to reinforce the understanding that are derived from observations, hypothesis, working in the big theories.
A lot of the issues that people have been thinking about, particularly since the early 70s, are addressed by earth science. People have become interested in pollution problems, resource problems, land use, natural hazards. What do you do about those? And all of those type of things are aspects that are addressed by environmental earth science.
Incorporating laboratory experience or field experience or hands-on experience, practical experience, that has always been, as far as I know, a part of the philosophy of our department.
I also tried to teach them that there was no standing still in science. If you don't move ahead, you'll slip backwards. You have to keep up to date. Science is always changing. St. Augustine once said, "Qui non progredi, regredi." If you don't progress, you'll regress, you know. And it was kind of a guiding light for me. They've got to keep learning. They shouldn't think, I've had this course and now I'm all done with chemistry. You know, like it was a pill. I've had chemistry.
When the science building opened and we were able to move into that facility, it was a great boon. For the first time, the faculty in earth science were all together in one place. Beyond that, we had facilities that were designed for us.
I saw the new science building, and it's wonderful. It enables students to produce more than they might with a lesser facility. It lends itself to a very positive feeling about the university. So those students who are in science who go into this building, immediately they feel that the university has made a commitment to them.
I like to bring grandkids in, and I like to bring friends in and show them the great opportunities that exist. And I think the general impression that I gather from folks is when they see that building, they say, Eastern has arrived. Obviously, people have an image now of Eastern as being a very desirable place. And actually, I think the enrollments will show that we're not lacking.
We now have a biochemistry major, we didn't have that before, the environmental or science major, and there's a new major being developed, which is a health sciences major. And so we are looking toward the future.
Science is the endless frontier. And one of the things that I enjoyed about science teaching was you'll never be like Alexander the Great and weep because there are no more worlds to conquer. In science, there's always something new to learn.
I want to thank Lisa Curtis in our Media Services Department for putting together such a wonderful video. And I want to thank Max Ferguson, Philip Elliott, Ralph YULO, Sherman CLEBNIK, Steve Kenton. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Well, he's still here. No. And Tim Swanson, who's been here for 48 years, just a rock for our institution. Here we go. Are you smarter than a college freshman? Is everybody ready? All right. Okay. Now here's how it works. Okay, I'm going to read the question and the answers, and then you'll have 30 seconds to answer it. So who is the co-founder of Facebook? Is it Barack Obama? Is it Mark Zuckerberg? Is it Steve Jobs? Or is it Katy Perry? You have 30 seconds, and the clock is ticking. Come on, slackers. Come on. 18, 17, 16. 8, 7, 6. It looks like everybody has answered the question. All right. And the answer is Mark Zuckerberg. This is as good as it's going to get, guys. All right, here we go. Question number 2. Connecticut state mineral is it the quartz? Is it nutmegite? Is it garnet or is it calcium? You can start. I got about 4 people left. 18 seconds. Oh, somebody else took a chance on this one. All right, we're gonna close out the polling. The answer is garnet. Okay, the three-dimensional model of DNA was the work of Gregor Mendel, Venter and Collins, Hansel and Gretel, or Watson and Crick. Twelve seconds left or so. There's 4 people who've chosen not to answer this question. 3, 6. All right, here we go. And the answer is Watson and Crick. Very good, very good. All right, 3 components of an atom are protons, neutrons, and ions, protons, neutrons, and electrons, protein bars, carbon, electra, and Neutrogena, or protons, neutrinos, and ions. If anybody answers C, I'm going to... Couple left here. All right. The answer is... Look at that. Almost as many as people who know who invented Facebook. That's not good, by the way. All right. The size of the early computers back in 1940 or so, size of a cell phone, the size of a car, the size of a classroom, or the size of a football field?
What year?
Right around 1940, early 40, something like that. Ten seconds left. I've got about 6 people who are not quite sure yet. Just give it an answer. Go ahead. 2 people. All right, we're done. Wow. Very, very good, folks. Okay. The function of an enzyme is to speed up a biological reaction, to remove stains from your laundry, to slow down a biological reaction, or to make a biological reaction non-spontaneous. Go with the flow, Gloria, go with the flow. You can talk to Tim later. All right, we got 6 or 7 people left. And 9, 8, 3 people? 2 people left. Come on, give it a shot. Just close your eyes and hit one of those buttons. All right. Wow, you got it. Very good. Okay, if the sum of 6 plus x is the same average, again, I'm going to repeat that word average, and there's pencils and paper on your table if you need to do this, as the sum of 2 plus 4 plus 24, what is x? Oh boy, this isn't looking good, folks. There is a right answer. All right, the right answer is 14. 6 plus 14 equals 20 divided by 2 equals 10. 2 plus 4 plus 24 equals 30 divided by 3 equals 10. Sorry, the accepted age of the planet Earth, 4.55 million years, 4.55 billion years, 4.55 trillion years, or 10,000 light years. All right, we got 2 slackers. Come on. Figure it out. One more. Okay, here we go. And look, 80% got it right. Very, very good. Okay, here's another math problem. That's why those pencils are handy on your table. If r is 5z and 15z is 3y, what is r in terms of y? Is it y, 2y, 5y, or why are you asking this? Pick it up, folks. The answer is why. Okay, what does C represent in Einstein's equation E equal mc squared? The radius of a hydrogen atom, the amount of energy from converting 1 kilogram of mass into energy, the speed of light in a vacuum, or NC hammer. Ten seconds left. Only about 6 people left to answer. All right, here we go. Speed of light in a vacuum. Okay, the average person in the United States uses how much water every day? Less than 5 gallons? 1,000 gallons? Does that include beer, or 80 to 100 gallons? Dev wanted me to change C to vodka, but I wouldn't do it. 10 seconds left, 10 people need to respond. If I can just make an editorial comment, if it's not A, then we're all using way too much water, I think. And it's not. It's 80 to 100 gallons a day. Which South American marsupial is found today in Willimantic? Is it the possum, Roger rabbit, the raccoon, or the squirrel? I have a good feeling about this one. 8 seconds left. I have 3 people left to respond. 2 people. All right. It is the possum. All right, another one of these questions we don't even want to know about. What is the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? Is it 3.98 parts per million, 39.8 parts per million, 398 parts per million, or 3,988 parts, 80 parts per million? $398 parts per million. Now we do know we're trying to lower our carbon footprint at Eastern, so we're doing something about that. But that's I know that the Earth Science faculty know much more, and students know much more than the rest of us what that means for our atmosphere. The asteroid belt is found between Mercury and Mars. Think about that one. Earth and Venus, Venus Williams and Bruno Mars, or Mars and Jupiter. Two people still out? Now go to Trenton, okay? 1%. Who said Venus Williams and Bruno Mars? It's Mars and Jupiter, and 81% got that right. That's great. Now, what is a binary digit? Is it 0 or 1, 10, 1 or 2, or 9 or 10? What is a binary digit or a bit? Think computers. This is not a trick question. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. That is the answer, 0 and 1. All right, this is my favorite. If it takes Sam 4 days to do a job that Lisa can do in 6 days, and Tom can do in 2 days, how long if they all work together? Answer number 1 is 0.8 days. Number 2, or B rather, is 1.09 days. C is 3 days, or D is just let Tom do it. About 5 seconds left. Okay. The answer is 1.09 days. Talk to Dr. Davis. All right, how many ways can you use or configure 2 binary digits, meaning a 0 and a 1? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Think of permutations of the numbers 0 and 1. The pain is almost over. But we have wonderful, no, fabulous prizes. Well, you got that one right. 71% got that one right. All right, another name for red blood cells. Thrombocytes, stalagmites, erythrocytes, or Draculacytes. This one ought to be, easier. And the answer is erythrocytes. How big is a gigabyte? 1 million bytes, 1 billion bytes, one big happy meal, or 1 trillion bytes? Three, two, one. Everyone answered this one. Oh, you know your bytes. You know your bytes. Very good. All right, and this is our last question, so think hard on this one. What habitat do we live in? Do we live in a chaparral? Do we live in a temperate deciduous forest? Do we live in an intemperate carnivorous forest? Or do we live in a tropical rainforest? Everyone's certain of this. All right. We live in a temperate deciduous forest. Very good. Well done. I'd like to ask Bev Canfield to come up with to the stage right now. We really do have some fabulous prizes. And if you look over on the back of your little clicker, beneath the barcode, there is a 6-digit alphanumeric code. And we're going to go backwards, forwards here. Okay, so whoever has 5B, 6A, CB, come up and get your prize. 5B, 6A, CB. If you want us to put a paper bag over your head, we'll do that for you. But again, that's 5B, 6A, CB. Someone has it. Okay, at the same time, so we can keep this going, I promised everyone would be out by 1:30. The next person, 5F 356. 5F 3556. All right? 5DD7CC. Again, that's 5DD7CC. Okay. These are all our third prize winners. 5D6800. 5D6800. Then there's 5D60A as an apple, E as an Edward. 5D60AE. Come on. Okay, 5852C8. 5852C8. So So our third place winners got a very nice bistro cup, and these winners are getting a very lovely red leather covered portfolio and pen, so they can write a lot of notes about, when they're in science tutoring. 5DD090. 5DD090. $5D64AE. You notice these are all students. Well, that's a good sign, folks. That's a good sign. And then finally, 5D2AF5. 5D2AF5. I think it's instructive that our students actually took home the bacon today. That's great. That's what we're here for. And so I want to thank everyone for coming this afternoon. Look on the back of your program between 1:45 and 4:45 as you... Oh, we have one more prize? Did I miss? Well, then let's make sure she does. Oh, you're what? Okay. Okay. All right. Would 5852C8 come up and see us for a second? Oh no, Brian, come here. No, you're doing better. You're going up. Dr. Oakley informs me that a lot of these winners are EES students, so that I'm sure they'd studied all last night on this quiz, but that's okay. And you get the lovely clock. Thank you very much. So again, thank you for coming. Thank you for celebrating science at Eastern. Thank you to our faculty and staff and students in the science programs. And see if you can't drive by at some of those activities this afternoon on the back of your program.